The city lost power. She lost her shoes, and her 11-month-old baby was burning at 104 degrees in her arms. She fell to her knees in the snow, ready to give up. Then a Tesla stopped. The man inside had buried his wife and son on this exact road 3 years ago. He looked at the dying baby and said only 4 words. "I'm not losing another." Wait till you hear what he did next. The city had never been so dark. A terrible ice storm hit at 8:17 p.m. on December 14th. Trees cracked like gunshots. Power lines fell and danced on the roads with blue fire. Every traffic light died. Every house went black. Phones lost signal. The temperature fell to minus 12 degrees in less than an hour. On Maple Street, far from the rich neighborhoods, a young woman walked alone with a baby. Her name was Nova Reyes. She was 22 years old, but her eyes looked 40. Her shoes had broken 2 days ago, so she walked in wet socks that were now frozen stiff. In her arms was her 11-month-old daughter, Luna. The baby had been burning with fever for 2 days. Nova had no money for medicine, no home. If you could call the broken-down car, she had been sleeping in a home. Luna's little body felt too hot against Nova's chest. The baby had stopped crying hours ago. That scared Nova more than anything. Nova kept talking to keep herself moving. Just a little farther, Mommy Star, there's a church with lights. They always help mommies and babies. Just a few more steps. Luna, please. Her voice cracked. Ice stuck to her eyelashes. Her long black hair was frozen into hard ropes. Blood from cracked lips froze on her chin. She turned the corner and stepped onto the wide, empty road. The wind pushed her backward like a giant hand. She almost fell, but she hugged Luna tighter and kept walking. That was when the headlights appeared. A black Tesla came sliding slowly down the icy hill. It was the only car moving in the whole dead city. The driver saw something in the road, a thin figure carrying a bundle, and slammed the brakes. The car stopped just 2 feet away from Nova. The driver's door opened fast. A man jumped out. He wore only a dark sweater and jeans. No coat, no hat. His breath made big clouds in the air. He didn't shout. He didn't ask, "Who are you?" He walked straight to Nova, looked at the baby, and without a single word took Luna from her arms as gently as taking a soap bubble. The baby made a tiny sound and rested her burning cheek on his chest. "I'm Caleb," he said, voice low and calm. "You're both coming with me right now. No arguing." Nova tried to speak, but her teeth chattered too hard. Her knees gave out. Caleb caught her with his free arm and half carried her to the warm car. Inside, the heat hit her like a wave. Caleb laid Luna on his lap and turned the heaters to maximum. He pulled off his sweater and wrapped it around Nova's shoulders. It smelled like cedar wood and warm skin. Nova finally found words. "My baby, she's very sick, fever 2 days. "I know," Caleb said. "My sister Maya is a children's doctor. She's already driving to my house. Hold on 5 more minutes." He drove slowly, carefully, headlights cutting through the ice storm. Nova stared at him. "Why are you helping us?" Caleb kept his eyes on the road. His voice was quiet. 3 years ago tonight, my wife Elena and our son Mateo died on this same road. Same kind of storm. I was late picking them up. By the time I reached the wreck, it was too late. I couldn't save them." He swallowed hard. "Tonight the universe put you and your little girl right in front of my car. I'm not missing my second chance." Nova started crying without sound. Tears froze on her cheeks. The big gates opened by themselves. Caleb's house stood warm and glowing with candlelight. The power was out here too, but a generator kept the heat and some lights working. A woman with kind eyes and a doctor's bag was already waiting at the door. Maya, Caleb's older sister. Maya took one look at Luna and moved fast. She carried the baby inside, Caleb carrying Nova because her feet were too frozen to walk. They laid Luna on the kitchen island on soft towels. Maya checked temperature, 104.2 degrees Fahrenheit. She started 4 fluids from her emergency bag, gave medicine, wrapped the baby in warm blankets. While Maya worked, Caleb led Nova to a bathroom. He turned on the shower hot, laid out clean clothes, soft gray sweatpants, and his late wife's favorite blue sweater. "Take as long as you need," he said. "I'll watch Luna." Nova stood under the water until her fingers stopped being blue. When she came out, her wet hair wrapped in a towel, she found Caleb sitting on the floor next to a dresser drawer turned into a crib. Luna was sleeping. Pink returned to her cheeks, breathing easier. Caleb looked up and smiled for the first time. She's going to be okay. Nova fell to her knees and cried like a child. Caleb didn't touch her. He just sat there, letting her cry all the tears she had saved for years. Later, he brought her soup. She was too tired to hold the spoon, so he fed her like she was a child. "You sleep now," he said. "Tomorrow we figure everything out. Tonight you are safe." Nova fell asleep on the couch, still holding the empty soup bowl. She dreamed of warm lights and a man's voice saying, "I've got you, both of you." Morning came white and silent. The storm had stopped. The whole city was covered in ice that sparkled like diamonds. Nova woke to the smell of coffee and pancakes. She panicked for 1 second, whereas Luna then heard a baby giggle from the kitchen. She ran barefoot and found Caleb on the floor. Luna sat in his lap, happily eating tiny pieces of pancake from his fingers. The baby looked at Nova and gave the biggest smile. "Mama." Nova started crying again. Happy tears this time. Maya checked Luna and said she needs 1 more week of antibiotics and lots of food and rest. After that, she'll be perfect. Caleb looked at Nova. "You'll stay here until she's strong." No discussion. Nova tried to argue. We don't want to be a burden." Caleb shook his head. "This house has been quiet for 3 years. It needs noise. It needs baby laughs and little footsteps. Please let it have that." So they stayed. Days became weeks. Nova discovered Caleb was the founder of an app that helps poor kids go to college. He was rich, but he lived simply. The big house felt empty until Luna's toys started appearing on the rugs. Nova had been an art student before her mother got cancer, and everything fell apart. One day, Caleb found her drawing on the back of an electricity bill beautiful portraits of Luna sleeping. The next day, a whole art studio appeared in the sunroom. New pencils, paints, canvases, everything. "I thought the house could use some color," he said, cheeks red. Nova painted again for the first time in years. Luna learned to walk in the long hallways, holding Caleb's fingers. She called him Ciesie, and he melted every single time. At night, Nova put Luna to sleep in the beautiful nursery that used to be Mateo's room. The walls still had soft blue clouds painted on them. Nova added new stars with glow-in-the-dark paint so Luna would never be afraid of the dark. One evening 6 weeks later, the power came back to the whole city at once. Every window lit up like Christmas. Caleb and Nova stood on the balcony, watching the city sparkle. Nova whispered, "This feels like the end of a sad story and the beginning of a happy one." Caleb took a small box from his pocket. Inside was a silver bracelet with 3 charms, a star, a tiny house, and a heart. "The star is the night I found you," he said. "The house is yours and Luna's for as long as you want. The heart, well, that's growing every day." Nova started crying again. She cried a lot those days, but they were good tears. Luna toddled out, rubbing sleepy eyes. Caleb picked her up. The baby put 1 hand on his cheek and 1 hand on Nova's face. 3 people, 1 heartbeat. That night Nova asked, "Do you think one day we could be a real family?" Caleb kissed her forehead, then Luna's. "We already are." 2 years passed like warm seasons. Luna turned 3. She had Caleb's dark curls now and Nova's bright smile. She called Caleb Daddy without anyone teaching her. The first time she said it, Caleb had to go to the garage and cry happy tears alone for 20 minutes. Nova finished her art degree online and started illustrating children's books. Her first book was called The Night the Lights Came Back, a story about a lost star that found a new sky. Caleb sold part of his company and started a foundation that gives homeless mothers and babies warm places to stay on cold nights. The first shelter was named Luna House. Every year on December 14th, the night of the ice storm, they kept a tradition. They turned off all the lights in the big house. They lit candles. They made pancakes at midnight. And they told the story that started with once upon a time a homeless girl carried her baby through the darkest night. On the third anniversary, the storm came again. Not as strong, but enough to make the lights flicker. Caleb closed the curtains, lit the candles, and got down on one knee in the living room. In his hand was a ring with a tiny star diamond. "Nova Reyes," he said, voice shaking. "You and Luna saved my life that night. You brought light back to this house and to my heart. Will you let me love you both for the rest of my days?" Nova started laughing and crying at the same time. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." Luna clapped and shouted, "Daddy and Mama getting married." They married the very next month in the backyard, under strings of warm lights. Snow fell softly. Luna wore rain boots with her white dress and carried the rings in a little red wagon. 5 years after that, 2 more children joined the family. Mia and Lil Mateo, named after the brother he never met but who watches over them always. Every December 14th, the whole family, now 5 hearts, turns off the lights, lights candles, eats midnight pancakes, and tells the new children the story. Once upon a stormy night, a brave mommy carried her baby through ice and darkness, and a sad daddy opened his door wide, and that is how our family was born. And when the children ask, "What happened to the storm?" Nova and Caleb smile and answer together. That storm didn't come to hurt us. It came to bring us home. Some storms break windows. Some storms open doors. And some storms, only the very special ones, carry lost stars straight into the arms of the people who need them most.